evening, all. Welcome to On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kia.
And I'm glad you guys were able to come and join us tonight. You've been seeing a lot of us this week, so for all of you that enjoyed our WWE mock draft, we hope you enjoyed our picks. We watched tonight's Smackdown, and honestly, we were pretty dang close with our first couple of rounds of picks. I thought we did pretty good in comparison to what they came up with.
I think so.
But, you look at, some of the early picks, you kind of knew, what you were going to get. You knew you were going to get Drew McIntyre early. You knew you were going to get Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins.
Asuka and Bayley.
Yep. Well, no, Bayley hadn't been picked yet.
That's right, Bayley. See, she don't matter.
All I know is a lot of women got picked and she hasn't been chosen yet, but I figure they're saving her for Monday.
You want to know why she don't matter? Because Sasha gonna whoop her.
Well, she already tried tonight. Didn't work out. But you look at picks like that, but then all of a sudden you got into the second set of picks, which is what would be the equivalent of our day two, and a lot of them started matching up. We had Sasha Banks, we had Naomi, we had Bianca Belair, which if you look at our board, there's Naomi, there's Bianca, there's Sasha right over there.
We had Hurt Business. I think we had the Hurt Business too, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
And then the interesting twist that they only took Jey Uso, but not Jimmy. I mean, I know Jimmy's injured right now, but at the same time, kind of interesting. They already tore our hearts out tonight with one team breaking up.
Isn't that kind of telling us something? I think they're trying to give us a sign.
Well, I'd claim racial issues, but they had Lars Sullivan return tonight too. So
don't get me started on that.
That's a can of worms we're not going to open. But either way, hopefully, like I said, you guys have been enjoying everything. We're going to keep this one relatively brief tonight, only because you guys have been seeing tons of material from us throughout the week,
which hopefully you liked.
36 rounds worth of picks. So we look at our board. You can see all the picks behind us, but we did want to save one pick each for our On the Ring Apron tonight. We had discussion, and you wanted to add something.
We have discussed, because I feel like it only makes sense if we have all these wonderful people on each of our shows.
To make sure it's clear, when we said we discussed, that means she said, and then we just do it.
No, he listened, and I just said, yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
So
that's how marriages work, I think.
What I'd like to do is, our last pick for me and Steve, pick number 19, will be a GM spot. Me and Steve have thought about our GMs, and we have, minor explanations for why we picked these. I had multiple, so today I had my oldest son Landon kind of put them in a cup, shake them up, and pull one out. I figured out who it was before I came back here, so you'll have to wait until the very end.
Oh, so you're not giving your pick now?
No, I'm not giving my pick now.
But to give you the idea so you can think about exactly what we're going with here, the only rule is that the GM still has to be someone that is on the active roster but would be maintaining a non-wrestling role. So you can't go back and get Terry Funk, or you can't, pull somebody out of the dead or out of retirement to come in and be your GM. It's got to be somebody that still would be an active roster person right now, but would maintain a non-wrestling role. So we'll be making our picks at the end. But the entire lead up for this week was to get you to the WWE Draft. The Raw episode this week was kind of a throwaway episode, not necessarily because it was bad matches, but just because you knew everything was lining up to have the draft starting this week. And then you get to the draft, and with the exception of the couple of surprises, Seth Rollins moving to Friday along with Rey and Dominic Mysterio.
I thought it was.
And then the New Day breaking up. You really wasn't much surprise other than our I guess personal surprise of Naomi and Bianca getting picked so early.
I thought it was pretty funny that the Monday Night Messiah, which if you change his name, is going to be the Friday Night Fantastic. I don't know. He'll come up with something creative, knowing him. But the fact that he thought he was leaving his past behind when his past actually followed him over to the other brand.
The past is not done with him.
No, they said they're going to kick his ass.
Yeah, well. It's going to be interesting because we also, you noted something as well. They drafted Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Yeah. Does that mean that Aaliyah and Angie are going with the Mysterio family? I mean, I doubt they're eligible for draft, but it'll be interesting because they're moving to Fridays. But unless Murphy also makes a move, you would think that Aaliyah would be staying wherever Murphy is to continue her storyline. So we'll see if that ends up playing forward.
That's what I was thinking. That's the only thing I could really think. But, we'll have to wait and see what comes up on Monday.
But, along with the draft, of course, we also still had NXT, and we still had NXT UK this week.
Oh, my gosh, which I've gotten into because we knew the names to NXT UK, but, getting into it more and more, and we had to kind of play catch-up from last week. but I enjoyed it. I mean, again, it's an hour of nothing but straight wrestling, and you kind of get into the storylines more and more each time you see the people. I mean, I guess that's what good storytelling is.
Well, the start of the Heritage Cup tournament,
Yes.
we've gotten through the first 2 rounds already. With Noam Dar and the A-Kid, both moving through, and so they'll face each other in a semifinal in a little bit. And of course, now next week we're looking forward to the in-ring return of the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, as he will team with Dragunov to take on the team of Walter and Alexander Wolf. Of course, Dragunov and Walter in 3 weeks going to compete for the United Kingdom title. We may sneak a preview in here, so we'll have to see.
I thought it was pretty funny, and I'm starting to notice with Pete Dunne, like, if he's talking to that particular person, announcer or whatever, or the guy that plans the different matches, I notice, like, every time that happens, he's always he's cool with it. Like last week, he said he'd ref the match, and this week he said, because when Dragunov said, I want a team with him, I'm thinking,
okay.
I'm thinking, I wouldn't want to know. But he said, okay, cool.
Cool, I'm in.
I'm in.
He likes to fight. That's what it's all about for Dunne. And we'll get a chance to see Dunne's new physique. Did you hear that? Haley screamed somewhere, I think.
Screamed, squealed, yeah, all the same.
She loves her some Pete Dunne. So broke her heart when he lost the title, but now he went on his social media saying that he got himself into the best shape of his life, and it shows. I mean,
he looks really good.
He doesn't have that little pouch in the middle
No.
anymore. I have no right to say anything about anyone's pouch. I've got plenty of it right here. But I mean, he looks like he is in fantastic shape. I mean, to the point to where some people were on his social media thinking maybe he was sick. But in the end, he came out and said, no, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, and I hope we'll see a good bit of it next week.
But did you ever notice when you go away for a long, extended period of time, because I'm saying it's not just him, but I'm noticing Xavier Woods, and there's one other person I can't think of off the top of my head, they find the weight room, or they find the gym, and they hit the gym, and they either slim down or get jacked.
You're probably thinking of Jake with State Farm, but,
That is true. Wrong thing.
But she's referring to Xavier Woods' return on SmackDown tonight. That dude found the weight room and during his year off because his arms are freaking jacked right now.
And that was the first thing that drew
sorry,
me.
Landon's correcting me from the other room. That's SmackDown Tag Team Champion Xavier Woods, who, of course, the New Day winning back the titles tonight.
That's the first thing that drew me to saying Xavier was like, who is this, built security dude? Then you find out it was New Day. So, but how do you think Big E felt, first of all, the fact that they got the titles back? Is he happy? I mean, I know he said we went through a car, or he had a long hard fight with Sheamus, but now to find out that his buddies of 7 years, we said, me and Steve said it wouldn't work, but it's worked for 7 years nonstop with title after title.
With not even the threat of a crack or a threat of a heel turn, by anybody. Even when, because the perfect opportunity was when Kofi won the title. You just sat here and said, okay, this is where one of them is going to say, I'm this close to being champion. I'll blindside him and I'll get my title shot.
Yeah.
Never happened. They defended Kofi.
Maybe
you feel like I got Lakers on the mind.
Yep.
But defended Kofi every step of the way, and then when he lost the title, they said, all right,
back to tag team.
We made it work, as we ran with it as long as we could, but now, back to tag team business. But, I do think there are bigger things in store for Big E. But it allows them to be able that when, that runs over, whether Big E wins some titles or doesn't, it opens up the door for them to reunite at some point and just pick up right where they left off.
Well, word was going around from what I heard, and we don't do dirt sheets on our show.
We try not to.
On the Ring Apron, but from what I heard, they were going to separate them. They were going to put Kofi on, leave him on SmackDown and put what I thought Big E over on Raw, and, have, Xavier jump back and forth where he'd be going from both brands to be the manager, but I guess that's not the case now. Right.
And then you look at, something like we saw on NXT this Wednesday, of course, both competitors of the championship match that we saw at TakeOver 31, both sustaining injuries.
Oh, my goodness.
Kyle O'Reilly, of course, taking the kick to the stomach. That is a legit injury. You could tell during the match something wasn't right. You don't stop that quickly. No, but if you look closely and you go back and take a look at it, he had his hand out. He was kind of hunched over. So I said, stop. Something's not right. But then his competition, Finn. You couldn't tell that Finn was injured until he started bleeding out of the mouth. But the fact is, even though he was bleeding out of the mouth, you couldn't tell that he was injured because it's like he just kept going. In his mind, I've got to grind. I've got to keep this tight. So you couldn't tell with Finn, but O'Reilly you could tell.
The blood out of the mouth? Yeah.
There you go. That's what we were waiting on.
Yeah.
But, of course, a fantastic takeover we saw this last Sunday. We gave our reactions at the end. No title changes at the takeover. We only had the one title change for SmackDown, which, of course, has no plate, so no plate exchange for me. But for those of you who haven't checked our Instagram following the mock draft, I did put out a very special episode of Plate Exchange.
Oh, yeah.
This one's not about titles. This one's not about championships and, who's won them. This one is about something much more important than that. So, if you can spare 9 minutes, check out the video that I posted earlier today. I think you guys will really enjoy it. But it's a very special Plate Exchange, probably the most important one we'll do all year.
Oh, I agree. I loved it.
So, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that'll be the first of some many special ones that we can do. If it isn't said on there, a huge shout out to Raul from Mania Club for, letting us do that. We do appreciate it. But, you look at this week. I mean, it was all about the draft. It continues into Monday. And there's still a lot of big names that are still sitting on that board that need homes right now, and then maybe some surprises. We talked about, the New Day breaking up, the fact that Jey Uso was moved by himself. Otis was chosen, but only by himself. Miz and Morrison moving over to Raw. So, I mean, a lot of folks staying the same, but also a ton of movement already as well, with a night still to go.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how it all works out. And even though a lot of them stayed on the same brands, a lot of them switched brands. I just want to see, are they going to use these people for their intended purposes instead of letting them sit in catering, if you get what I mean?
Well, I agree with that concept that if you're not injured, why are you on the roster if you're just going to end up sitting in the back, every week?
I mean, they got
find a spot for them somewhere if they're, if they're busy.
And nothing ridiculous, please. No more ridiculousness.
No more sing-offs.
No that's
more
exactly what I was talking
karaoke
about.
contests. No more of that. No disrespect to Naomi and Lacey Evans and all of them who had to compete in that. We get it. It's sometimes it's chicken salad. Sometimes it's chicken something else. But it is what it is. But the draft is kind of the glorious part of all of this, is because it allows you to reset everything. It allows you to be able to take the storylines that you've been watching for the last several months. You're going to have one final pay-per-view at Hell in a Cell. 3 Hell in a Cell matches now set in place.
You know which one I'm looking forward to.
For that pay-per-view. And, and I said it already, Sasha and Bayley inside Hell in a Cell deserve to main event. They won't, because we know Roman Reigns ultimately will be the one that, gets to, main event with Jey Uso, especially since they've now added not just Hell in a Cell, but an I Quit stipulation to that storyline, to that match as well. But Sasha Bayley, I mean, this is 5+ years in the making. WWE putting out something on YouTube this week about the 5-year anniversary of their Iron Woman match back in NXT, which ended up being Sasha's swan song. And now here we are again at Hell in a Cell. We don't know where Bayley's going to end up. Is she going to end up taking it to Raw? Because what's interesting is, as of right now where we stand, both tag team champions are now sitting on Monday Night Raw, with Kofi and Xavier of the New Day, being drafted to Raw despite holding the SmackDown tag titles. So it's very well possible the SmackDown champ could end up on Monday Night Raw, at least for a little while. So we'll see what happens on Monday.
I'm just kind of disappointed, because the way I feel, I love, again, tag team and the women's division, as you can clearly see from my list up here. But going into it, the I call them Shinzaro or whatever. That's the name I gave to both of them. I feel like, I hope they don't get put back at mid-card or low tier because they've lost those titles. They were very entertaining to me, and the fact that we know Cesaro can work with literally anybody across the board at this point.
Exactly. And then you look at some, potential storylines that now open up the door. Otis now staying on SmackDown, so assuming that he holds on to Money in the Bank and everything in the storyline with The Miz, eventually at some point that means he's going to have to cash in on Roman or potentially Jey Uso. On the flip side of the coin, if it ends up with Miz or Morrison, one of the two, then it's Drew McIntyre that's now got to be looking over his shoulder, or potentially Randy Orton. We haven't discussed anything with, Mustafa Ali now being the leader of Retribution. In a way we saw it coming, and yet we're still just as fun and still just as enjoyable when it actually happened.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think I even told you off screen after everything went off. Hopefully, maybe he can do something with that storyline and the group of individuals.
I think it's the perfect person to save what was a storyline that was very quickly going the wrong direction putting Ali as the leader of the group, giving him a heel turn that I don't think you could get any other way. And it's very clear that, you know, the 5 members that we knew about up until now, adding Ali, and then there are still people around the ring in hoods and robes and everything else. So there are still more members of Retribution that are still going to be a part of this.
Can we change some names though?
Yeah, a couple of these names are kind of there. You know, the one that bothers me is Slapjack, and you know, all I'll say is Urban Dictionary, the word slapjack, and the rest of it will solve itself. That is not for.
Go look it up.
This one definitely will. I'll have to make sure YouTube gets the. This one is not suitable for kids edition of this episode, but. You know, a lot of fun stuff. You know, this is definitely a week that was worth definitely watching everything. Again, I'm gonna just say it. You know, if you haven't watched UK yet, you know, go take a time to go watch it. They have some great competitors out there, and people we're really getting behind. You know, and it's enjoyable, especially when you have something like Worlds Collide getting ready to come up in January. As well as, of course, the possibility that someone could show their face at Survivor Series as well. So we'll see how it all turns out.
We saw how NXT went, or like the pay-per-view NXT 31 went when we had 2 new people show up, Toni Storm and Ember Moon. By the way, looking very good, ladies.
Congratulations to Ember, by the way, because there was a lot of times where the R word was brought up with Ember. An Achilles injury is not easy to come back from. But she's back. She's gotten herself in fantastic shape, and looked great in her first match back. It's one match. It's obviously a long way to go. We're not ready to hand her the NXT Women's title already, but she's well on her way. And then of course you got Tony Time getting ready to take her place in NXT here as well. That
women's division is they're just it's great. It's phenomenal.
Well, we talked about when the 4 horsewomen left NXT.
Yes.
How is the division going to ever recover from that? And I'd argue right now it's better than it was then, and that's no slight against the horsewomen. Just that is what they've done with that women's division.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So.
But anyway, that's good. Like I said, we said we'd keep this one short. There's so many topics to talk about. We really don't have any direction. One is playing in the ball pit in there, so we've got to hit him. But before we go, we said we had GMs to announce.
Yes. We hadn't flipped a coin, so...
No, you're up. I picked last.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Okay. So, my GM for SmackDown will be Mickie James. Only because I feel she will be back from her injury here in a couple of weeks. And I feel like she's been around as long as I've been watching wrestling, so I feel like she would know the ins and the outs, the ups and the downs, what people want to see, what people don't want to see, as far as when it comes to these matches with, women and tag teams and, such as, like that. So I feel like she'd be a good GM for me.
She has the experience level as well as the, the respect of the locker room for the most part. I think she could fit it. I'll let you write mine. You've written all the others. I had to think about mine for a little while on Monday Night Raw, but amidst everybody who's still left as available choice, I'm actually going with Samoa Joe. I think that given the opportunity, the experience he comes with, he's been the headliner, he's been mid-card, he's been tag, he's been, the guy who has to be, the squash victim. He's done commentary. He's, I think he'd be perfect because very similar to what we've seen when Triple H was running things with the Authority, whether he was good or bad. The reality is he's been there, he's done that, he's been through it all, and has the experience and the respect of the locker room that he would be able to be a person that would know how to put on a good show, and most importantly, he's going to have the people decide things in the ring. He's not going to let this petty, back and forth arguing happen, backstage. He's going to be a person that's going to say, go step your ass out there, and duel it out, because if you don't, hey, it's both your asses and I'll just take out both of you.
Yeah.
And then we won't have to worry about it anymore. So I thought he'd be a good pick. So if I have to choose a GM for mine, I would have taken Samoa Joe.
But I think we have one more thing. I know that people have been watching and have been enjoying. If you want to see us continue, tomorrow as well as Sunday, going into Monday, please let us know. That way we can. That way we can kind of go forward and actually put some more people on the board for these these brands.
Well, again, we have so many names that didn't even, that didn't get picked. So, we've got, a couple days this weekend all the way up until the draft on Monday. You want us to throw, 5, 10 more picks up here, we'll be happy to do so. Do you guys want to see it, or, are we content with the rosters that we have now? So tell us what you think. But anyway, we're going to wrap things up. It's been a very long week, a lot of material out there. Again, I'm asking you guys, each of our picks are only like 15, 20 seconds each. So enjoy those. We had that 9-minute video for Plate Exchange, a very special one. As I say, goes beyond WWE. So take a second to watch that. Again, another shout out to Raul for helping us out with that. Mania Club, Give Kids the World, Gary, Demario, everyone who's been involved in this fantastic work. We continue moving through this month with Susan G. Komen. So, we press on. But you guys have yourself a good weekend. If you want to see more stuff for the draft as we head into Monday, let us know. But Kia, take us home, please.
Oh, that's nothing really take us home. I'm going to go eat. I don't know about y'all, but y'all enjoy your weekend and have a good day. Have a good night, excuse me. Bye, you guys.